Showcasing local talent, professionals, and everyday people making Salt Lake City what it is today. It's time for another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast.
Let's welcome everybody out today to episode 326 of I Am Salt Lake podcast. My name's Chris.
And I'm Chrissy.
Hey, we're recording today out of our studios at Access Co-working Space right in the heart of downtown Salt Lake City. What a beautiful place to come and record.
I love driving through downtown.
The people, they're out and about, walking around. The weather's getting nice.
It's just going to get better and better.
Hey, this episode of the podcast is proudly sponsored by Five Wives Vodka and Taylor Cooperative. We're going to tell you more about these awesome local businesses and why you should be supporting them later on in the podcast. But we got a great show today for you guys. On this episode, we get to sit down and chat with David Ezekiel Brooks. He's got a really cool story. We get to talk about everything from creating his own religion to helping run local company Klugonyx and what they're about. I think the thing that I was most excited, though, to talk to him about is Open Streets. It's happening in downtown Salt Lake City on Saturday, May 5th. And David is actually one of the main people in helping put that whole event together. We get to talk about it. We're actually got a booth at this event.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. I hope you guys come down and say hi.
Say hello. We're going to have our podcast recording stuff there. We're going to have some stuff for sale. We don't really want to tell you too much about it, but this is actually, I think, our first time doing a booth in Salt Lake City.
And this is the perfect opportunity for you guys to come hang out with us.
So again, mark that on your calendar, Saturday, May 5th. We're going to put all the links at iamsaltlake.com. With episode 326 show notes. Hey, if you like podcasts, you're going to love audiobooks. And I know there's a lot of you out there that still have never listened to audiobooks. So as a special bonus to I Am Salt Lake podcast listeners, we're going to give you a free audiobook from Audible. That's right, a free audiobook along with a free 30-day trial. Just go to iamsaltlake.com/book. This is going to send you to the super secret Audible portal. Again, that's iamsaltlake.com/book, where you can get a free audiobook. And even if you decide to cancel, you get to keep your audiobook.
Forever.
What audiobook are you listening to, or did you finish up there recently, Chrissy? I know you love audiobooks.
I listen to so many. If you have not heard it yet, go download Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman.
That's all you ever talk about.
Oh, it is such a great read. And he reads it. It's one of the only books that he actually reads. And he's so amazing.
That's one thing I do love about Audible is the fact that a lot of times the authors read their books. Jen Sincero, You Are a Badass. Or
yeah,
what?
you've been reading this one.
I just finished that.
Yeah.
Just finished listening to that. That's on Audible, which you can get your free audiobook by going to iamsaltlake.com/book. Take advantage of this deal. Anyway, let's jump into that conversation that we had with David Ezekiel Brooks when he came over to our recording studios, shared his story. Enjoy this conversation. Thank you so much for listening. You and I were meeting, we met for the first time, just hypothetically. Obviously, we knew each other. We've met each other in the past. This isn't the first time we've met, but let's say we met at a bar and we were talking about ourselves and you had 30 seconds to tell me about who David is. What would you tell me? What would be a few things you'd tell me?
I would say that I apply myself to innovation all the time. You know, like I run a product development firm. I run nonprofit organizations in the past, and just always trying to find the next project that's going to bring community and at the same time some profits while helping the planet. All three at the same time. That's always the mission.
I love it. I love it.
Do you ever feel overwhelmed? Because that's a huge mission.
I honestly am going to tell you the truth. I feel underwhelmed a lot of the times.
Underwhelmed?
Really?
Underwhelmed.
Why is that? Why underwhelmed?
I feel like a lot of things are relatively easy now. Like I feel like I've gotten a grasp of like all of the disciplines that I've been working on, where things are, they just come and it's easy to work with. Like big problems come up every once in a while. Stay cool, deal with it, move forward. And it's not really I need something like new, you know. I need to like launch like a rap album or something, you know.
Is that kind of how you are as a person? You get kind of bored easy.
I wouldn't say I'm ever like bored though. It's more
You like
more
to be challenged.
Challenged, absolutely, right? Because it's not like overwhelming or underwhelming. It's more of like being unable to handle the situation, right?
It sounds like you're the ADD kid in school who teachers are like, they have a lot of potential, but they won't apply themselves because they're bored. They need more.
No, I don't
more to
think
challenge
so.
them. Really? That's what it sounds like to me.
Anyway,
like you have more to give.
He wants to give a lot back to the world.
Yeah. I definitely want to give a lot back. And in school, you know, I always did the almost minimum. I was always like a B- student. Like I was never studying for tests.
Right.
I would always just go into the test and pull off an A, and then like my homework, I would just like kind of do it. I don't know.
Did you grow up here in Utah? Where's home?
I did not. I grew up in Pacoima, which is the ghetto of San Fernando Valley.
So what brought you to Utah then?
A football scholarship. I played football at Weber State.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I got a buddy, Ryan. Ryan, do you know Ryan Prince? He's co-hosted the podcast. Didn't he play football there at Weber State?
I think so.
And then he got in the NFL, man.
That's awesome.
He went all the way.
No, I've never heard of Ryan Prince, actually.
Yeah, well, that makes
Might be
sense.
different generations.
Yeah, potentially.
Nobody up in Ogden, right?
Yeah,
Weber State.
totally.
Yeah. So how long did you play football for? I had no idea.
That's all right. I played 5 years total.
Really?
I redshirted my freshman year, tore my Achilles my junior year.
And I think he's talked about that
really?
Achilles thing, whatever. I don't know what all
That's
that.
that's.
Do you still get out and play like street football or football with your buddies? And
So
all
I
that?
started to do that about 2 years ago, and then I tore my other Achilles. Playing in the Beehive Sports League,
No
playing just flag
way.
football.
Beehive, yes, we've had them on the podcast. We David is it? Is it
It is also David,
another
yeah.
David. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Small Lake
a
City
great
at
group.
the
It
best.
is.
So you went to school at Weber. What did you study besides football?
I know, right? Design engineering with an emphasis in psychology of consciousness.
And so that's what kind of led you to like where you're at right now. Klugonyx is
That's
what.
correct.
So we're recording here at Access, which is funny because after I scheduled David, I happened to notice a Klugonyx sticker here, which you said your office used to be here.
That's correct.
The room we're in.
This
the room,
exact
actually.
the
room,
room that we're recording in. But this wasn't your office. How long have you been with Klugonyx?
So I've been with Klugonyx for 2 years. When I first met Jason, who is my partner now, he's brought me on as the partner, and I'm the COO of the company. Our first meetings and our first interviews when he was like vetting out whether or not I'd be a good fit for the company was in here. It's kind of weird to be back in here being
What a
interviewed
strange
again.
deja vu.
And obviously, I have no idea what Klugonyx is, and I'm sure people listening have no idea
Right.
what you are or what it is or any of that. What is Klugonyx?
So Klugonyx is a product development firm that also has a manufacturing team in China. And so we have 3 employees in China that are totally all about like whenever we bring a project to them, we hand it off when it's fully engineered, fully prototyped, and they go and mass produce it for our clients. And we have bigger clients such as like Malarkey. We've worked with Caterpillar, like the giant tractor company.
Yeah.
And currently we have like 24 different projects going on at this exact moment.
So people with an idea will come to you and you guys help make it happen,
That's
basically?
it. That's, yeah.
Nice.
Our slogan is make it, literally. And so they'll come to us with like a concept. Be like, I want to make a cup holder that is able to understand how I feel in the morning.
And do you tell them if it's a bad idea or not?
Yes,
I'm
we
sure,
definitely-
like, you're
we
like,
definitely
that is
will
a really bad. Do you have
And
to
we
say
hear,
that
and
very
we do.
often?
We hear a lot. We probably get about, I'd say, 10 different ideas a week coming to us from people off the street. Potentially, some of them are businesses that already exist. They already have multiple SKUs, and they're coming to us to, expand their whole product line. And so,
What's the craziest thing? I'm sure there's got to be just I guess I don't know. Maybe you can't even share. I don't know.
Oh man, I wish I could share this one because it is so crazy. But it entails I almost even like slipped it. It involves dildos and pretty much smart dildos.
Smart
You'll-
dildos.
Smart dildos.
You'll have to tell me.
Can you just slip me a website address afterwards?
I don't even think
Chrissy
he's
wants
ready.
to get it. Chrissy, like, where's this smart dildo at? Like,
Yeah.
No, that's a great idea. Actually, you could probably take it to the Shark Tank or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we've had products on Shark Tank already,
Really?
which is fantastic. Yeah, the Peak microphone ball It's like a microphone ball that you're able to like throw around at like a conference. And instead of having to like run a mic over to the person, you just throw a ball.
Oh,
and they
that's
just
a
talk
great
they talk
idea.
into the
Man,
ball.
do you know how many businesses could use that in like company meetings?
Yeah,
That'd be incredible.
that's exactly what they use it.
So
Once again, slip me a website address after
right.
we talk.
So what
I
did you
will,
do
for sure.
prior to Klugonyx that led you there? Like what other businesses have you done? Or, I mean, have you
Yeah.
always kind of been involved with strange stuff like that? Because that's not a normal business. I mean, it's not
No,
like you
it's-
were like a waiter at
Yeah.
Poplar or something,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, I've done a little bit of everything. I mean, out of college, I got my first job as an aerospace design engineer. So I worked on A-10s and a lot of the Army helicopters. And then after that, I ended up moving to Spain, became an English teacher, and moved back here and I was the lead architectural designer for Nielsen Homes, and then left Nielsen and worked with the Boys and Girls Clubs, and was totally not doing anything in like engineering or design. I was just like fully embracing like creating awesome projects and programs for kids. And then I felt like I was missing something still. So then I got back into architecture again and worked on huge projects such as like the World Trade Center Transportation Hub, that giant Spire building, in
Sure.
New York. And once that project finished, I met Jason and then jumped on board with his ship, and here we are now.
Wow.
We brought you on here to talk about, obviously, Open Streets, which is going to be
Woo-woo.
going on here in May,
Yeah.
which I want to get into here in a few minutes, you know, and we'll probably mention at the introduction of this podcast. I'm just kind of trying to lay it out here, you know, to get to know who David is, right? Before we get into Open Streets. Because I know, you know, you've done also some stuff like for air activism here, haven't you? Or did I see some stuff you've done involved with, I mean, I guess we're all kind of air activists here.
Yeah.
In Salt
We
Lake
like
City,
breathing.
right?
It's good.
We like breathing,
Absolutely.
right? But what have you done anything with that or no?
I have, yeah. So I used to run a nonprofit organization called Revolution United.
Yes.
And the objective of that was to develop projects based on what the community proposed and voted on. So I would hold these idea silos about like, okay, here's a problem. Here are two people that really know about the problem. So they'll talk about it and like share what it is that they're struggling with. And then I hold a giant, you know, design thinking workshop around like people's ideas, and people just propose ideas. They think about philosophical things and they write all their ideas up on the wall, and then we consolidate them, and then we vote on the best ones and we turn them into projects.
Okay, that's like a design sprint.
It is.
I don't know. It's totally
Yeah.
a design sprint. That's amazing.
And using it for the community. I mean, it was a great motto. I felt like it could have really gone places. And so one of the problems that we had talked about was air quality. And so the whole group was like, okay, well, let's get the community together and teach the community about everything that they can do to improve the air quality. And so that's where the Utah Clean Air Fair spawned out of, is the community. And then from there, it went for about 3 years. And then that's when my organization, there was like a coup d'etat, kind of, and the organization imploded from internally. And then I passed the torch of the Clean Air Fair to Catalyst Magazine, who now calls it the Utah Clean Air Solutions Fair.
You're not that old of a guy, man. Like how this guy, like you said, you've been to, you lived in Spain for a minute too.
Yeah, I was a lead singer of a band.
You were a lead of a band.
You've accomplished.
Okay, I mean,
What band? Can I look it up on YouTube?
You can probably find it. It's called the Spring Leaves. I'm not going to say that it's going to be impressive or anything. In
What
fact,
kind of music is it?
it's like acoustic folk rock, kind of. Not really.
I like that.
I dig it.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
cool, like theoretically, but you know, I sound more like Bert and Ernie on Sesame Street when I'm singing.
So you went to Spain to sing. How did you get connected with people in Spain to sing in a band?
So I had a girlfriend that was in.
How'd you have time for a girlfriend?
Yeah,
man?
that's
Solid
always
point.
that's always the problem. Honestly, is time, girlfriends, and all the things that I'm trying to do. So I had a girlfriend in Ogden when I was at Weber State from Spain, and she was like, "I want you to come back with me." And so I went back with her after I left the aerospace company, and I got a job as a teacher. One of my students, I remember going to his house one day because there was like private classes,
Yeah.
and he was finishing up his guitar lessons. And then I had the idea right then and there to be like, okay, let's write a English song together. And then we wrote the song together, and then he shared it with his parents. His parents were like, wow, this is like really good. You guys should like perform to all your friends. So we had a party with the one song that we did. And they were like, whoa, this is amazing. So then we started a full band, and then next thing you know, we're performing in the Juglar, which is one of like the premier venues out there for our opening concert, and then did a little tour around Spain.
Were you making money? Or not really?
I mean,
Band
no.
money.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
band money. I
money.
didn't know, like,
We did
maybe
enough.
it was like you made it big for a minute, right?
No,
like
we definitely didn't
maybe
make it
in
big.
Spain big, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not definitely not Spain big either. You know, it's like the
It's just an
first
awesome
tour of a band.
experience.
Yeah, just an awesome experience.
Yeah.
Being able to see a lot of Spain, really, and
Man, what a
meeting
great way
lot
to
of cool
do
I'm
people.
gonna
it.
totally Google what was the band again?
The Spring Leaves.
The Spring Leaves.
I'm
And
totally
if I
watching
find
videos
any
tonight.
links, I will post them up with this episode at iamsaltlake.com. You also mentioned you kind of started a religion, which I have to get into just because it's so
Sure,
fascinating.
of course,
And I
of
mean, this is a
course.
podcast, and people come here for the juice. Man.
Yeah, there's had a lot of juicy moments. I guess.
Talk about this. Talk about this religion, how it started, what you did,
What you named it?
what you named it.
Yeah, I called it the manifesting energy, and
I love it. Manifesting.
I'd follow that religion.
He's on board. He's in it. I'm not sure if you guys have been watching this this Netflix series called Wild Country, I believe it is.
No.
I've heard of
What
it,
is
but I
it?
haven't watched it
It's
yet.
got Osho, and he started like this whole community commune in the middle of Oregon, and it's wild.
Is it based on a real story?
It's the real story. It's the
Why are
Osho.
we not watching this, Chrissy?
Let's start.
It's the Osho.
This is right up
It
her
is-
alley.
It totally is.
What was that podcast that you told me to listen to with the people that killed themselves?
Oh,
Jonestown?
Man. No, not Jonestown.
The Japanese squad.
Nope, it's the cult. It's man.
It doesn't
They
matter.
wore Nike sneakers.
The
Come on.
white outfits or something, right?
No, they put purple blankets over themselves. They wore Nike sneakers and they all drank juice.
Huh.
I'm gonna remember. I'm
Okay.
gonna remember, and then I'm gonna
There's a-
tell you guys.
There's a podcast, and I never finished it. Anyway, so you started this. Sorry.
Yeah, so in my final years of college, when I tore my Achilles, I was like, okay, I'm not going to start anymore. I'm going to be like a backup player for the year. So I started getting into a lot of, esoteric things, right? Like researching like quantum physics. And I was already in like psychology of consciousness classes. So I was trying to figure out what exactly the mind was. And there's a huge gap there with science because there's they can't put a finger on it. And, diving into quantum physics with how, time and space compared to like consciousness, and where there's like this weird little triangle area in the middle where you can create almost anything. And getting into that and diving into that and sharing at the beginning stages of like when YouTube was first coming out, it was like back when it was like literally nobody was on YouTube at the time. And I started sharing I just openly speak for, like 10 minutes on like a specific topic. And over time, just a bunch of people just really started like following it. And it got overwhelming. Like people all across the entire world were just like, oh my gosh, your stuff, what you're saying is so truth. Like it's so helped me so much. And then people started to like dedicate like songs to me. They're like, this song, he'd look into the camera and like set it up and be like, this song is for David Brooks. It's called Ripple. And then
You
he'd
were like
start-
the original TED Talk, just inspiring everybody.
maybe I get.
Were people sending you money?
No, I never asked for money.
You should have asked for money.
Oh, and it's Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's
Sorry,
Gate,
Heaven's
Yes,
Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
Yeah.
Good podcast. Listen
Yeah.
to it.
Okay, I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out. I'm a big fan of social dynamics when it comes to like belief and structure and like what people follow and why they follow and like how even, right? Like what inspires the herding of individuals,
It's interesting because there are a bunch of individuals, but they seem to have their own unique reasons
Absolutely.
for following the same cause.
So did any of these people from YouTube, from online, come and try to find you in real life?
They'd always ask me where I was and try and like be like, hey, so where are you going to be at this time? I'm going to be in this area. Cause they saw that I was in Spain. They saw that I was in Utah. So they'd try and like connect in person.
And did they ever?
No.
Did you have real life stalkers?
No, I never had real life stalkers. It never got like that big.
Probably
Thankfully.
back then it was harder to stalk. I think today
Probably a
would
lot
be
harder.
easier
Yeah.
to stalk. Does anybody ever recognize you? Oh, that's the guy from the YouTube.
No, it was back when Facebook was first starting too, right? So I a good amount of friends on Facebook that, were listening to those videos and watching those videos and stuff. And every once in a while, like I'll make like a reference to it. Cause there's like moments where I'm just like crying on like camera, and just talking about how beautiful life is as these like two ducks are like walking by.
And how many years ago, like from today, how many years ago was that you were doing that?
This would have
for
been
a rough idea.
This would have been 2008, 2009.
Okay. So a decent
Not
amount.
too long.
Well,
I say not too long ago because I'm old.
10 years.
Yeah,
You're not that
10
old,
years.
Chrissy. He's probably close.
Seems like a year ago.
Right.
What I want to do now, I want to take a break to play a message
Sure.
from our sponsors.
Awesome.
And then when we come back, I want to talk about open streets.
Perfect.
Okay, because that kind of, in my opinion, everything we've been talking about, I think kind of leads into, I think, what an amazing event Open Streets is. So hang tight. We'll play that message here from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with David. It's that time of the podcast where we take a few minutes of your time, tell you about our awesome sponsors. These are some great local businesses that are helping keep this podcast going, so please support them in everything that they have going on. This episode of the podcast is proudly sponsored by Five Wives Vodka. If you're in Texas, you can get away with drinking Tito's, but if you're in Utah, I better see you drinking Five Wives Vodka. They actually have 3 different flavors for you to try out. A lot of people, I know you're familiar with the original Five Wives Vodka flavor. This is just made from Utah mountain spring water. It's 100% distilled corn spirit, and it's gluten-free. Spring is hidden up in beautiful Ogden Canyon. It's inaccessible by vehicle, so the water is hiked out 5 gallons at a time.
And they also make a delicious one called Five Wives Sinful. It's a flavored vodka with a delicious cinnamon taste. And unlike other cinnamon products that give you the cinnamon candy taste, Sinful is more like a morning cinnamon roll, and it only has 76 calories per ounce.
And it actually is pretty good to drink in the morning.
Hey.
Who would have figured, right? They also have the Five Wives Heavenly. It's a flavored vodka with a delicious vanilla taste. Heavenly's rich, buttery vanilla flavor comes through without coating your taste buds with sugar, and this results in more vanilla and less calories. You can pick up all the Five Wives vodkas at any of your local DABC stores, which that's your state local liquor store in whatever town you live in. You can go to fivewivesvodka.com. You know, Five Wives Vodka, especially with summer coming up here, Chrissy, if you get invited to a barbecue or a friend's house, show up with a bottle of Five Wives.
Absolutely.
And you'll get invited to every party that person has. Again, the website's fivewivesvodka.com, where you can find out more information about them, recipes, and all that good stuff. Many thanks to Five Wives Vodka for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. This episode of the podcast is also sponsored by our friends at Taylor Cooperative. Located right in the heart of downtown Salt Lake City, Taylor Cooperative makes suits that actually fit you. Not those bulky suits that you get from suit shops in the mall. These are suits that are custom fitted to fit you. Guys, we all need a suit. We run into that time where we have a job interview. Maybe we get a job that we have to start wearing suits. Maybe we're invited to a wedding. Or maybe we want to look good when we go out for a night on the town. This is where Taylor Cooperative comes into play. Head on over to their website, taylorcooperative.com, schedule a fitting, and they're going to get you fitted and set up with a suit that you are actually happy with and you want to keep wearing. You don't want to hide it in the back of your closet. You're never going to want to take this thing off. I promise you that. I know a lot of you have never gotten a fitted suit before, so let me tell you, it's not as intimidating as it sounds. It's really a simple and easy process. They have an amazing fabric selection, which they let you take a look through. And then they'll talk to you about your personal style, what you like to wear, how you like your clothes to fit. And then they're going to take your measurements. The fitting is fun, informative, and very, very relaxed. The end result is a high-quality suit made specifically to your measurements and style preferences. The first step, of course, is to schedule a fitting, which you need to head on over to their website, taylorcooperative.com, schedule that fitting, and when you go in, tell them thank you for sponsoring I Am Salt Lake Podcast. I want to talk about open streets. This event is blowing me out of the water every time I see it pop up online, social media. What is it? I'm going to let you kind of take it away for people listening that might not have seen anything about it. What's the date, the time, where it's at, the main gist of it? What do we got, David?
So it's happening Saturday, May 5th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and it's massive. It's probably going to be the biggest block party Salt Lake has ever seen. I don't know. I haven't been here forever, so I don't know what's big and what's not, but I know that this is massive. So we're shutting down 200 South, 300 South, Pierpont, Pioneer Park, West Temple, and 300 West. And
that's pretty
well,
huge.
I saw the map online, man. I'm like, what the how are you going to do that? Like,
well, it's been awesome because I got brought on like right at the beginning, and it worked out great because a lot of the people didn't really have like a lot of the like overall experience to like do something this massive. And except for like maybe Tara, because she's like one of the event coordinators at actual like Salt Lake City events, right? So it's a event put on by a bunch of city departments, and I sit on the bicycle advisory board for the city, and so it was one of the very first meetings that they had talking about like, okay, we're gonna do this next May and this is back maybe last November, and they're like, okay, do any of you guys want to get involved? And I raised my hand, and it turned out I went to the next meeting. There was like 3 people in the room, and it was really easy to be like, okay, I'd plan all the activities. And so now I'm planning all the activities for this massive event. And some of the stuff we have going on is mind blowing. We got world famous DJ Captain Planet, not to be confused with the blue dude. We have,
food trucks,
so many food trucks. We have
bands. All
so
kinds
many
of bands.
bands.
I should pull it up here in front of me. We're going to have a booth there. I Am Salt Lake podcast, which I want to thank you publicly. You reached out and said, hey, do you want this? And I was like, this is exactly the kind of stuff we wanted to start doing.
Well, this event is like a celebration of the community of Salt Lake, right? Like it's all about like showing and demonstrating and being proud about what we are collectively. And what better podcast to be coming on to than I Am Salt Lake? Because it's like this massive I, right? For all of us, which turns into a we. And so I wanted to just get everyone that I know that's doing anything to come out and just share what it is that they're passionate about, share what it is that they're doing.
That's so great because it's basically exactly what we're trying to do with the podcast is really just shine a spotlight on the people who are creating things and building community here. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a great, I'm excited.
Look at this.
They
got Kids Zone, bounce houses, monster bubbles. They got pony rides. You're going to have pony rides?
Ponies, yeah.
Pony party.
Okay, can adults ride the ponies?
I think so.
Can I ride a pony?
And then you have a circus zone, a health zone. I'm going to put this link for the event, obviously, up at iamsaltlake.com. This isn't the first year of Open Streets. I remember going to Open Streets in the past, and they're kind of empty.
They were super empty.
It's kind of empty Open Streets.
It was meant
literally open.
Yeah. So in the past, the way that they had formatted it, they had like a few booths, but really it was all about people being able to like come out on their bicycles or come out on their rollerblades or whatever sort of active movement that they wanted to utilize. And it was really just them going up and down 8th South for a couple of years. And this year, they just wanted to go massive, and I was like, yes, I'm all on board for this massiveness. And so
they kind of changed the concept of this year's Open Streets a little bit, it sounds like.
They did, tremendously.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to kind of blow people out of the water, Salt Lake City? Like, there's like, what the
I hope so.
Yeah,
these are these projects that I've been talking about.
You're adding more. There's going to be more than even what's listed on the event right now, right?
Yeah, I literally spent this morning adding on the back end and sending out emails to 75 more organizations and businesses.
How are you? You're not even getting any other work done. You're just putting all your time into this.
No, definitely not.
He's got he's got this down. He knows he's functional. He knows how to do this.
How are you paying attention to your band in Spain here?
I know, right?
So are you still taking vendor applications, or
we totally are
up
Absolutely.
until what date? Because I don't know when.
Sunday. So we're putting together.
This will be up after Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So it's up to when we're recording this up to this next Sunday. We're taking vendor applications.
But I could probably squeeze a couple people in if they want to send me like a direct message. I could probably make that happen.
What about volunteers? You're taking volunteers.
We also need volunteers. Currently, we have 102 signed up. We could always use more. there's so many things going on. There's so many little parts and pieces that make this whole machine work, and it's all volunteer time, which is phenomenal. My time's volunteer. All the people inside of the city is volunteer. It's massive and beautiful.
That's how you know it's going to be good. When people are really volunteering and dedicating time to it, everyone's trying to do the best they can.
I mean, it's a free event, right? It doesn't cost any money to get in. So many people listen to this podcast, David, and they reach out to myself or Chrissy, and they're like, how can I get involved? How can I find out what's going on in the city? And it's like, come to this event because there are so many local organizations that are going to be there. This is kind of, now granted, May 5th is not quite summer yet. I realize it, but this is going to be kind of your kickoff into summer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The weather's going to hopefully be great.
Oh,
right?
man. I'm going to do a few dances at Ecstatic Dance on that Wednesday.
May is kind of a tricky month,
it is.
man.
It is.
Yeah.
We got married in May. So
and it was fickle.
We were like, oh, is it going to rain? Is it
Right.
not going to rain? But what are you looking forward to the most about Open Streets? Or is that kind of a tough question to throw out at you, David?
Honestly, just seeing. I want to see the people. I want to see the attendees. I just want to walk around one time and see everybody having a good time, right? I want to see them just, jumping inside of the trampoline park that's going to be showing up. Doing 3-on-3 basketball or whatever it is.
We're going to have to close down our booth every couple of hours so we can go do that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm all over that.
Testing electric bicycles, just so all of it. And I think
so cool.
one of the coolest things that I'm going to want to see as well too. So we're going to be doing a bicycle scavenger hunt. And I feel like I've done those in the past, and every time I've done them, they've been phenomenal because we opened up 300 South, the new bike lanes that they did, and we had like a celebration party, and we did a scavenger hunt for it, and just stopped by all the businesses, and just seeing like the drive and the teamwork between the businesses, or not the businesses, the teams, and just seeing how happy they are, like if they win, and just like how stoked they are in their pictures that they have to take when they're like marking whether or not they got to a place. Man, that's cool to me too. So I like doing little puzzles and stuff like that for people.
It's coming up, man. Couple weeks away.
Yeah.
Couple weeks away.
Yeah.
Before we started recording, though, I want to make sure we touch on this. Chrissy mentioned something. I'm going to let her kind of jump in here.
Something I'm so fascinated by. And I found out about this from Phil, now called Earl Cooper. I feel like I need that disclaimer because
He's been on the podcast.
He was on episode 275, and he is a cool dude.
He is super cool.
And he told me to go to this ecstatic dance. I didn't really understand exactly what it was, but then I saw a video that you posted about this, and it's something that people do in Salt Lake. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that?
I have no idea. I've never even heard
so
of
cool.
it.
So it's not only in Salt Lake. I've recently been to Chicago and New York and got to go to their ecstatic dances in their communities. And hands down, Salt Lake City goes harder than any other city.
Hell yeah, we do.
That I've ever been to or heard of. I'm not exactly sure why, but the people that go to like the ecstatic dances here in Salt Lake, they give everything they have while they're on that dance floor. And so here, let me give you a little background about what's actually happening. So we bring in these world-class DJs. That's how I met DJ Captain Planet, who's coming to Open Streets. He'll be performing at Ecstatic Dance the next day.
Is he not from Utah?
He's not. He's in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And so what happens is you show up, you say hello to your people, and then you go onto the dance floor, and we bring in these world-class DJs. So they love it and they're willing to take like a less amount of money because every DJ, everybody that does art or any sort of like expression, they want people like fully embrace and like be in tune with what it is they're creating. And that is what ecstatic dance is for DJs. Like they'll come out, and you're not allowed, the people who attend, they're not allowed to talk on the dance floor. So you're fully dedicated to the music, and you're not allowed to take any pictures. So it's fully just like you and the music and this DJ, whatever this DJ is throwing out. And Salt Lake's peculiar because other cities, New York, for example, and Chicago, they do it like once a month. We're doing it twice a week, and we're turning out 140 people average each time in comparison to Chicago. And I went to it, and it was like, 60, 70 people.
Like, and where are you doing? Like at clubs? Or
No,
where?
they do it at the Krishna Temple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's every Wednesday night at 7 and every Sunday at noon.
Can anybody go?
Anybody can go. And the first time you go, it's free. I'm out there on the dance floor killing it. I love it.
So
That's so cool.
I mean, I guess, sorry if what do you, I mean, besides you just like to get out and dance,
Right.
or I mean, what do you love about it? Just the...
Probably just the free
it's the
expression,
energy,
huh?
the free expression and the collective free expression that everybody is like bringing. It's like a unification through individualism, right? Like everyone's just moving in their own way, and then eventually there's like a song that comes on, everyone starts running in like the same circle and like dancing in the same sort of circle. It's almost like the same feeling people get from church.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Where they go and like people share the same, experience and the same sort of beliefs. And in essence, that's what dance is for a lot of people that go to ecstatic dance. And where our belief is that through dance, you can heal and unify anything.
It looks and sounds like a very emotional and spiritual experience.
So if you can't take pictures, you probably can't find any, like I couldn't put any links up for anything online.
No, you can.
Is there videos?
Yeah, there's videos. There's an ecstatic dance Facebook group page. They put the event out anytime that we bring in like a big DJ. Like Wednesday, tomorrow, Kamananda, DJ Dakini from Australia is coming out. She's like a big deal, and it's just wild. I don't know how Zach Geist, who's the coordinator of it, I don't know how he gets these massive DJs.
And you said it's at the Krishna temple right off of there. So is it part of the Krishna religion then?
No, it's not. Just they worked out a deal where they rent it out on Wednesdays and Sundays, and we dance in a temple.
I love it.
That's why you have to take your shoes off. You're not allowed to smoke on the property. You're not supposed to go inebriated either. You're supposed to go true you.
Can't even smoke a joint.
No joints.
Gosh. So what are some of your other hobbies and interests, David? What else do you like to do with free time? I guess that's probably a rare thing for you, right?
Yeah. Not really, though. I do a good job of planning out like my spare time. Like I'm taking a trip to Paris here pretty soon. I'm going to Justin Timberlake and Beyonce concerts here pretty soon.
It's going to be awesome.
Thanks to my girlfriend. That's her doing.
Here in Salt Lake.
Justin
cool.
Timberlake is here in Salt Lake, and the Beyonce one is in San Francisco. But music. I like making music. I like rapping. I love freestyling. I've developed like this 7-step process of consciousness magnification, right? And amplification, where you go through these processes, and then at the end you do like this freestyle exercise rapping and once you're finished with it, you're able to like really brainstorm and create almost anything. Like if you want to focus on improving your podcast or improving whatever sort of process or coming up with a completely new idea, you can do it with it. And
So you're pretty good at freestyling?
yeah, I'm all right.
Let's hear some.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, you could. I'm all about it. I don't see why not.
I think that'd be awesome.
Well, okay, here we go.
If you throw a beat on that, I'd be.
I got no beats.
You're the beatbox.
I got no beats to throw on you, I guess. So I guess we'll have to pass on that one. But
that's okay.
Okay, you lost me. Okay. If you could do anything for your next birthday, what would you like to do? What would David like to do?
Well, I am going to be in Paris. So that's what I'm doing.
For your birthday.
For my birthday. But honestly, I would love to get a whole squad of people and, go on some massive adventure, like go down to Machu Picchu and go see a bunch of like ancient ruins and whatnot together,
Gosh, that would be cool.
And then while out there, do and just have like cool ceremony, cool conversation where like it's open and purposeful dialogue rather than just like talking about random things that you see, be like, hey, so what did you experience? What did you feel at Machu Picchu? And like just stuff like that, getting people's insights directly.
If money was no object, what would you do with your day?
Probably a lot of what I'm doing now, honestly. I love just sitting down and working with people collaboratively. I would, if money wasn't a problem, I'd probably sit in an office or like on a beach and just have people come and talk about their projects, and I'd help them.
You'd be like what's the word? The guy that people travel to get insight from.
A guru.
Yeah, a guru.
A what?
A guru.
Oh, a guru.
As we Americans say, a guru.
Yeah.
What's the strangest thing that you've ever eaten?
I would say the weirdest thing I've ever eaten was alligator.
Did you like it?
I don't even know if I've ever had alligator.
I haven't, but I'm curious.
Yeah, it's like a rough steak, It's like a well-cooked beef jerky.
Maybe I'll take a pass. That's meh.
Who would you most like to be stuck in an elevator with?
Can they be alive or can they be dead?
Dead or alive, however you want that person to be.
I've recently met the guy that hosts Brain Games I can't remember his name. He has this video series where he's talking. It's shots of awe. I cannot remember his name, but he is phenomenal, and I love that he gets to like have opportunities to talk to like Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I'd probably want to talk to Neil on an elevator, just ask him like profound questions and like just stump him, you know,
just stump him.
Yeah. He'd be like, man, you're really testing my brain right now.
He'd be cool to get on this podcast.
Oh my gosh,
right?
I love Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
I want to know, if you went back to high school, or if you could visit yourself, your high school self, what's one piece of advice that you would give yourself?
Take all the risks. Don't hold back, because worst case scenario, you'll end up falling on your feet.
What app do you use the most on your phone?
This is just 20 questions.
I know, right? It's supposed to be quicker. How I'm taking too long. I'm usually really good at this. But you're asking some really unorthodox things. I want to say Snapchat. I like Snapchat because I get to like save the moments, you know?
Yeah.
And they're just gone and they're like forever.
I like Snapchat too, man. Snapchat's a lot of people don't really get it and understand it.
Yeah.
And
well, I like how Chris explained it to me. It's really a very personal experience for social media.
At least
like you're really
I
personally
don't know how
connecting
you
with
use
people.
it.
Yeah, it's definitely more personal, right? Like you share it more with like friends and like people that you're closer to.
Yeah.
Rather than just like being open to everybody.
It isn't so much about like, oh, I got 5,000 friends, or look at all these people. You know, I mean, there are sometimes we're like, oh, I just didn't get as much eyeballs on it as before, but.
Well, it's the philosophy behind it too, right? Is similar to like Burning Man, which I love as well, where it's like you put in all this energy into a moment and you try and capture it just to let it go. That Buddhist philosophy of working on the sand mandala, and then at the end you just swipe it all away.
How many times have you been to Burning Man?
I've been once only.
Once. I want to go one time.
You should go.
We should go. I have a friend who's actually on the board. I don't know what they have. The board
11?
Probably. He says he's on the board. Probably. I don't know. I don't know that much about it, but it sounds really cool because he gets very excited about it.
Oh, it is an experience.
So since you've been one time, what is there a piece of advice you would tell somebody that's never been, that's about to go?
Nope.
No advice.
Nothing. No advice. Just go out there and experience it. Like, honestly, like everyone thinks like, oh man, there's a bunch of hippies naked and stuff. And
are there a bunch of hippies naked?
So here's the beauty of it. You'll find anything you want out there. If you don't want to find a bunch of hippies naked, you'll probably run into Elon Musk hanging out, drinking coffee in his like little like secret camp, you know?
I think it's so easy for people to glaze over it as a specific kind of thing.
Right.
Instead of realizing that people go there for their own experiences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know exactly why, but whatever it is you think that you want to like see, you end up like seeing it. Like, people are like, man, we're like on our bicycles and like, man, I really wish I had a hot dog right now. And then like we'll be biking and we get to like this installation and there's a dude at the installation with hot dogs and is like sharing hot dogs with people for free. Just it's like 3 a.m, random out there, you know?
I love it. If someone was visiting Salt Lake City, like say this upcoming weekend, obviously if it's the weekend of open streets, they'd go to open streets, but a normal weekend.
Yeah.
What would you tell them to do or check out? What would you tell them? You know, people say buildings or hikes, or what would David tell them to do?
It's funny you say that. I actually have my family coming in this weekend.
Okay.
My aunts, my nephew, my cousins. I'm just going to do what I always do. I'm just going to live my life and just bring them along with me because I feel like what I'm doing is pretty cool in general, you know, like the bars I go to, the events I go to, it's
just kind of whatever's going on.
Yeah, just whatever's going on that weekend. Yeah.
Is there any one specific thing that you're very excited for them to see?
Have they been to Salt Lake?
They have been to Salt Lake before. I think I'm most excited to just show them my life, really, right? Like show them my office, show them my house, show them my girlfriend, show them like just everything, just my life in general.
That's great.
Yeah.
If you could change something about Salt Lake City, what would you change?
The air quality, we know that.
Yes, it's a lot of things. I mean, I'm the type of person that I'll look at anything and am looking at ways to improve it, which has its flaws. I'm very open and aware of that. But more than anything, I would change civic engagement. I want more people just involved, right? Like I feel like in politics and in government, everyone like gives these representatives all the power to like make the decisions for us. And I'd love to see a difference in all cities, not just Salt Lake, but to have people be able to collectively make decisions in how we live our lives.
Is there any kind of advice that you would give people to become more engaged? Like a way that they could if they didn't know where to start? Sure.
I mean, find their passion, whatever their passion is, and then apply it to something that is a problem that they see. It's pretty easy.
It becomes easy when you really want to do it.
Yeah, it actually really is. And then you just Google what to do, and then Google will have the answers. Google's like the new guru, you know.
Or just Facebook, right?
Yeah,
just ask Facebook.
Exactly.
That's
going
true.
on Google.
You'll get a lot of opinions if you ask Facebook.
You get a
lot of ideas.
I know you do. You get amazing. You get amazing feedback on your stuff.
That's half the fun.
Yeah, you know, I was like want to see these obscure answers from people. It's like, what is this person going to say? You know, but what about favorite local eating spots? You know, I ask this on every episode.
Yeah.
I like to even just give other local places a little bit of a spotlight.
Oh yeah, of course.
Where do you like to stuff your face?
Yeah, I love Cafe Shambhala.
Where's that at?
I have not been
It's
there.
in the Avenues.
Okay.
It's mostly vegetarian food.
Okay.
There's no bottle fee, right? So you can bring any bottle in there. Alcoholic
So they do an open, like there's no cork fee, you can bring your own in?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm liking this place. Let's go.
And the servings are super massive. So you walk in there with $10 and you're feeding 3 people.
I like
no
the
problem.
sound of that.
And it's delicious too, right? And the story that, you know, Tenzin and her father have of him escaping the Chinese like strong arm of them invading Tibet and stuff is like
And these
so
are the people
beautiful.
who owned it or who started, opened it?
I feel like they could, Wes Anderson could like take his story and turn it into like a kooky thing with, you know, Bill Murray in there somewhere.
Any other local eating spots you like?
Yeah. I love Tasha's. I love
Tasha's Ramen. You still haven't been there yet, have you, Chrissy?
No, but I really want to go because everyone says it's so good.
Red Iguana, Saffron Valley, Mai Tai. Out of all the Thai food places, I love Mai Tai because of how quick and fast it is and delicious. Like it's just basic, delicious Thai food. And lastly, like when I want to like really get like a high end meal, I'll go to like my upper places that aren't really that like upper, right? In the first place, it's like Laziz and White Horse along with Mediterranean.
I've heard about White Horse. It's a new place. Is it a restaurant, a bar?
It's like a bar restaurant, you know, where it's like a I don't know what they call them. They have like specific
whatever sign they have. This is the bar. This is a restaurant.
Right. They're gastronomy bar, or gastropub.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love Laziz. We need to go back there.
Let's run down. So open streets. Let's talk a little bit as we kind of wind this podcast down a little bit. Open streets, give the date, time, all that good stuff again, David.
Saturday, May 5th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pretty much all of downtown. You just drive. Downtown and you'll see it. There'll be cops stopping you from getting into the area. Just park somewhere. Better yet, ride your bicycle down and or your rollerblades and get to explore as much as possible.
Is Trax going to take you right in there too? Probably?
Yeah, Trax will be right there. Bus will take you right there. We have pop-up bus stations or bus stops where they're just special and a little bit more, you know, upped up.
Because I was going to say, if all those streets are blocked up, I mean, parking is going to be ridiculous. So like park at like one of the Trax stations on like 2100 or even down, you know,
That's
50,
a good idea.
50, whatever,
53rd
South.
Yeah.
And then take Trax in, I think would probably be a good idea.
That is a great idea. In fact, I'm going to make a post about that.
I know. I think it's you're welcome. No, it just, I think about that stuff because it's free to park at those things.
Oh, yeah.
You pay a couple of bucks to take Trax in. And then you don't
It's
have
so
to
much more convenient.
Yeah.
And then you have a good time. You don't spend the whole time trying to find a place to park. So you're not angry when you go into the fair.
Right.
If listeners wanted to get a hold of you, is there a website they should go to or for Facebook or what's the best way if they want to get a hold of you, David?
Facebook's tough now because they've like blocked me to have like, I can't have any more people on it or something.
Popular guy.
I guess.
Or Klugonyx, I guess.
Yeah, you could go to Klugonyx.com and, just see a little bit about what we do and just reach out. You'll see my email on there. You can find me on Instagram, DBMEMENTO, like the movie Memento, DB Memento.
Oh,
that was a good movie.
Okay.
Yeah. I love those deep movies with the psychological, aspects to it.
You have to watch them a couple of times.
Oh, yeah,
This guy's a deep thinker over here.
I know.
man.
I'm loving it.
I like that.
Yeah.
You should do a podcast.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you're on the podcast.
That was an easy sell.
Yeah, I'll consult with you about
Okay.
it and get your insights on what to do.
So anything else? I mean, I know we kind of skimmed the surface with you, David, today. I don't know. Was there anything else you wanted to ask him? Or
I've
bring
asked you
up
for so much advice already
talk
for
to
people
him or-
because you're obviously a guru. But what other, what life advice? I love advice. What life advice would you leave for our listeners?
I would say not to be so bogged down by what you're supposed to be, right? And what you think you're supposed to be, because at the end of the day, we all die, right? And while we're alive, we might as well try and do as many things as possible. And it's like, manifest as much as possible that you are wanting to see in your own life to be happy. Like, you're not alone. No one's ever alone. You can find people on Facebook, online, just go out in the streets even and just be open about what it is you feel and what it is you're looking for. And there's always someone out there with an open heart as well, and that is resonating at the same frequency, and they'll guide you. There's gurus all around.
Okay, I'm so glad that I asked for that extra piece of advice.
Are you going to be at Open Streets at all? You'll probably be impossible to find at Open Streets. I was going to say for people to reach out to you there, but you're probably going to be so busy.
Yeah, I mean, they could probably message me. We're going to have all of our walkie-talkies and stuff with our cell phones, so I'll be tuned in. I mean, I'm running 3 stages and 1 space, and then the entire artists row. So I'll be around doing a bunch of things.
Well, thank you so much for coming and doing the podcast today.
Of course. Thank you for having me. You guys rock.
Anytime.
With your questions.
I always tell people, I say, let's catch up down the road.
Okay.
But thank you so much. Anything else you want? We're good, Chrissy?
Oh, I'll just keep asking questions.
All right. Well, thank you so much, David.
Of course.
All righty. Many thanks again to David Ezekiel Brooks for coming on this episode and sharing his story. All of the links for this episode can be found by going to iamsaltlake.com/326. That's for episode 326. Dig through that back catalog. Share this episode with your family and friends. Share any of your favorite episodes.
Yeah, there's
with your family
guaranteed
and
there's
friends.
one fascinating episode that you will love.
And like I mentioned, Open Streets is May 5th, Saturday, May 5th. I believe it's 10 to 4 or 10 to 6, downtown Salt Lake City. Sounds like you're not going to miss it.
Just take tracks and walk around, man.
Come down there, say, where is the I Am Salt Lake booth? Come down there. Both Chrissy and I are going to be there. We're going to be there all day. We'd love to give you a high five. We'd love to maybe record a little bit of
I'll
a
give
podcast.
you a hug.
Chrissy will give you a hug. She's a hugger.
I am a hugger.
Anyway, mark that on your calendar. IamSaltLake.com is the website, though, where all the episodes are. What are some of the things people can do there, Chrissy?
Well, you can go obviously find some great episodes, and we have them broken up by category so you can look at things you're interested in. We also have an events calendar, so you can kind of check out what's happening in Salt Lake City, and you can connect with us.
Connect with us. There's an email list you can sign up with. There's all the links up there to ways to subscribe, all that good stuff. But hey, that's going to do it for this episode. I want to get home here. Many thanks again to our sponsors for this episode, Five Wives Vodka and Taylor Cooperative. Many thanks to Access Co-working Space for their hospitality. And most of all, many thanks to you, the listener, for coming back week after week. You all have a great week. Get out and enjoy the city, support local, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Good night, Grammy.